Hi, good morning. We're live today on Friday. This is Singapore here. It's Good Friday today, holiday, and where we are celebrating. Yeah, and it's now actually 9:56 in the morning. Very good morning to everyone who is tuning in. Okay, we'll give it a few minutes. We'll just let whoever wants to tune in to come in and do share. Do like and share this session. I'll be covering on some topics for coaches, for parents. Basically, it's around the topic of what is coaching. So today you'll be like finding out a little bit, when I talk about coaching, what is it? Like, how do I use coaching and what is coaching and why coaching, the benefits of coaching, and even for professionals, like how do you get into coaching? Okay, so yeah, do like and share with somebody who might be benefiting from this. So we'll give it a few more minutes before we start. Okay, meanwhile, just hang out, chill, relax. Let me know you are here. You can always type in the chat box. Okay, right. For those that just tune in, welcome, good morning. Let me know you're here, you're live with me. Feel free to drop in the text chat box, okay, on Facebook Live. So we're going to start very soon. Yep. Hello, good morning, Uncle Lau, you're here. Good Friday, yes. Morning, Lau. So what is your program today, Lau? Okay, morning. I'm going to just kick off. Whoever who is tuning in, thank you for tuning in this morning. Yep, just a quick session with everyone, just to cover and to share, what is a little bit about me. Yeah. Okay. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Joe here. I'm from Singapore. I'm actually a life coach. I'm focusing and specializing on youth and parents. I'm the founder and the director of Arc of Hope Private Limited here in Singapore. So my specialization is really in focusing on helping parents to connect and to communicate better with their young children, the teenagers. Yeah. So the first topic or subject I want to cover is why coaching, and what is coaching. So I get this question a lot, like when I tell people that I'm a life coach or I'm focusing, on coaching, they will like typically give me a blank face, like, they don't really understand what is coaching all about. Does that mean that I train them in the gym? And yes, although I do train, and I do, and also training in physically, fitness wise, but that's not exactly what I'm referring to. Okay, so what is coaching? So coaching, right, really in layman terms, is to focus on helping a client, okay, my clients to get what they want, okay? And the process of coaching is really coming together and then partner, okay, and collaborate, okay, to work towards a common shared goal. So one of the things that I do a lot, which is to use the solution focused approach, which really is all about respecting, our clients that I work with, their strengths and their perspectives, and tapping into it. Okay, so that is really what coaching is all about. And I use it in the last 20 years to work with children, work with youth, work with families and parents. So that has been my focus actually all along. So also some may ask, like, what are the benefits of coaching, right? And how does it differ or, differentiate from therapy, from counseling? So that is a real good question, because the benefits of coaching really, as help somebody along, you will see that there is an increase or there is an improvement in their confidence, okay? Because end of the day, you are helping this person to tap into his or her own strengths. And it is also empowering that person to work towards his or her own goals. So what's the difference then from counseling or therapy? Okay, there is a difference, and that difference could be very slight. But end of the day, coaching really focuses more on identifying what the coachee or the client is wanting to move towards or to move forward with. Whereas for counseling or for therapy, you realize that when they come to the session, there are normally baggages or there are normally things that they are being tied down by. So emotionally, mentally, they might be in a very difficult state, or they might be still struggling with a lot of issues that happen or has happened in the past, or just recently. So coaching is really coming in from the angle that, okay, you are now ready to move on. You want to see some difference in your situation. You want to be equipped with skills, with strategies, and you want a coach to come in alongside you to partner you in that process. So the coach really provides that space, that safe space for you to explore what is possible. Okay, and normally, of course, you can always do that with your friend, with a good friend, but normally we know how friends, right, will come in more with advice. They will come in more with their inputs. So you typically will get into a very a different space where it's not so much of offering you that neutral space, right, to discover for yourself. Okay, so I've covered, what is coaching, the benefits of coaching, and then, how coaching differentiates from counseling and therapy. Okay, so one of the things that some people may also ask, right, what are the issues that I normally focus on when I work with clients for coaching? It could be things like, clients wanting to identify what they want. It could be things like clients wanting to get a handle of how they can work with their kids, how they can handle certain situations at home. And particularly for those contexts where there is repeated patterns, of incidents that's happening at home. Because a lot of time parents get stuck, all right? They get stuck with a same situation that repeats over and over and over again, and they are doing the same thing, right? So as parents, I'm sure you know that when you do the same things, obviously you're going to get the same results, right? There is nothing to be surprised about. So what I do with parents is I come in, I provide that space, to help parents identify strategies, and even their children or their teenagers, because a lot of times also for young people, they like to work with somebody who is a little bit more neutral. They don't feel that they are being fixed. And that is where I also work with young people to identify what are their options, right? And a lot of the common issues or challenges that they face is making decisions, they have certain ideas in mind, but they are not very clear. So a coach like myself will come in and provide that safe space and environment and facilitate that goal towards their preferred future and what they would want for themselves. Okay, so this is really what is coaching. And then yeah, feel free to drop in the text, right, in the chat if you have if you have some specific questions and you are a parent yourself. Yeah, I will definitely love to answer that. Okay, now a second group of people that I want to address and I want to just provide some insights to is for those of you who are working with clients, okay, you are already in the field like myself. I've been in the social service sector or field for the last 20 years. So you could be also somebody like that, right? You are already a social worker, you're a counselor, you're a youth worker, you are coach maybe even. And you are wondering, you know, how can you probably get into this space as well of coaching? And you've been hearing a little bit, you know, about this, but you're not quite sure what is it, you know, how do you get in? So just to share with you a little bit about my journey. So I began as a social worker many years ago, right? So I got into the social work sector, trained as a social worker, and that was how I began. And I was working with families, the community, counseling them, you know, handling cases of parents and so on. So that was my beginning. And then I was doing youth and youth programs and so on, right? So that was where I began here in Singapore. So along the way, right, I was getting more and more, you know, involved in running youth programs. I was handling cases, complex cases, families that were kind of like just breaking apart, you know, single parents, the parents were struggling with financial and low income, you know, kind of difficulties. So one of the things that I did was I really try to, you know, put in my heart and soul, you know, try to just help these families and parents along. But something I kind of like discovered along the way is I realized I couldn't quite move them along. I was just kind of like doing the same and managing the cases, but the families or the cases weren't really moving. They were not really progressing, you know, towards their next steps. So I kind of like feel very stuck. So one of the things that I stumbled upon was the solution focused approach, right? And I started with the solution focused brief therapy training. So that was where I began my journey as a therapist, focusing and specializing on solution focused brief therapy. So that was my beginning, and that was really how I got onto that path. And later on, because I was also managing a lot of programs and stuff, so my staff team grew, and I was managing like 10 over staff on a day-to-day basis. So then I realized that, hey, I needed something to also help my staff, my professional staff team to grow, right? To groom them. So that was where I decided that, okay, let me just move on to solution-focused coaching. So that was where I also began somewhere in the early 2014, 2015. Yeah, I began my coach training. And that was also where I got so excited, because coaching then began to be a different framework and approach that I could actually use to integrate into my work as a social worker, working with youth. And I was integrating the solution focused approach in terms of therapy and in terms of coaching. So I was very happy that I began that journey very earlier on, right? So, and yes, then I continued coaching my coach training, and where I started was with a academy. So for those of you who are not aware, that there are coach training schools present all over the world. So all you have to do is you just have to connect and find a coach training school that is accredited. All right. Okay, there are 101 schools out there, you know, like online these days, online learning and so on. So I would just simply give you advice that go for the schools that are accredited, right, and recognized. So an accreditation really works on the understanding that as you go through the program, the program is audited, a program is checked, there is standards, right? And at the end of the program, you also come out with certain credentials and certain certificates and qualifications and so on. So that was how I really started, my coach journey. And that, from then on, I continue working on. So as a coach, you also have got different levels. So once you finish your coach training, you complete your hours of, practice as you work towards better and better at your coaching. So I clock up the hours, and then I got my associate certified coach credentialing. So that was my kind of like my first level for coaches. And then subsequently, I continued to work to the next level, which is a professional certified coach. That is the next level, right? So that is where I am today. So, yeah. So, okay. So, long story short, right? If you are thinking of getting into this line, or if you're thinking of just really equipping yourself, upskilling yourself to be better and more effective with your clients, I would encourage you to just look out for some of these coach training schools that are accredited. So the one that I am with is actually accredited by International Coaching Federation, ICF. And I myself, I'm a ICF credential coach, right? Where I continue to upkeep my coach practice, training, skills, and knowledge. And together, I'm also with a community of coaches. So today, I'm actually leading the community of practice focusing on youth coaching here in Singapore. All right. So for those of you guys out there, not sure wherever you're from, I'm very happy to kind of like give you some ideas or some tips if you're really keen to get into this youth coaching space. Because trust me, this is one of the space that you really want to get involved with, because the moment you get in touch with young people, you are basically locking yourself in to be involved for the next 30, 40 years, because young people will eventually become the leaders of tomorrow. Okay, so I'm very happy to be, here today. And if you have got any questions, feel free to just drop in the chat box below. And I would also love to connect with you on social media. So my social media handles is also below in this description. My website is there as well. And of course, feel free to drop me an email at my personal email, and I would love to connect with you. All right. So thanks for tuning in this morning, and wishing you all the best. For those of you here in Singapore, happy Good Friday and enjoy your weekend. Okay. Thank you so much, and see you the next time. Bye.